Back to the program now. What can termites teach us about saving power?
And how can a blender detect colon cancer? Well, the answers can be found in the book The Medici Effect, which may just change your mindset and the way you behave.
That's pretty mind-boggling. Joining us today is author Frans Johansson, who's also an entrepreneur, and he tells us more about this effect, the Medici Effect. We know the Medici, well, good morning first, Frans.
Good morning.
Sorry, I jumped the gun. Well, we know the Medici, the name is actually, it comes from a wealthy Italian family. Now,
Yes.
you have taken the name and used it as the title of the book. What does it really mean?
So the core idea of the book is that we have the best chance of developing groundbreaking ideas when we combine ideas from different fields, disciplines, cultures. Okay, so that's the basic message of the Medici Effect. What the Medici family did was they sponsored creative people from lots of different disciplines, architects, sculptors, painters, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, from all over Europe, and as far away as from China. And they brought them to the city of Florence, where they were able to break down the boundaries between the different disciplines and cultures and ignite the Renaissance, which is one of the most creative eras in Europe.
So basically the vision, that is.
Yep, and basically what I'm looking at in this book is how did they create that effect? How did they create this explosion of creative ideas?
Right.
And how can we do the same thing in our own lives and the companies that we work for?
Now, you mentioned earlier a bit about getting different backgrounds into the book. As you have this idea of intersection, I believe.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So in the book I talk about this notion of the intersection. It is a place, it's that point where different cultures or different industries meet, and where widely different, unique ideas combine to create something new and fantastic.
But isn't that something that all of us go through? I mean, all of us come with a bag of unique experiences. Our life story is just unique from everyone else.
Absolutely, and part of this book's message is that we have to tap into these unique different perspectives if we want to be innovative. Anyone can really do that. They have the exposure from their different backgrounds. They may have a hobby in one area and work in another. They may have exposure to different cultures in the background. But how often do we tap into those? How often do we try to connect these different perspectives to create something new? And in the book I talk about why we have to do that and what happens when we do, which is just these
So what
amazing
happens
innovations.
when we do?
So I'll give you an example. One of my favorite stories in the book is the story of Mick Pierce. He's an architect.
Okay.
And he was presented with this challenge. He had to build the largest building in Harare, the capital of Zimbabwe. But this building was to contain no air conditioning, which is intriguing because, you know, it can get hot.
Yeah, it's
in
pretty
Zimbabwe,
hot.
right?
It's sizzling hot.
But he managed to actually accomplish this by looking at how termites build their hills, their mounds on the African savanna. And he looked at how they did it, and they build these mounds, keeping an exact about 30, 31 degrees Celsius inside of them, by using tunnels and a cool pool of mud in them. And he said, I can use the same principles that they have designed for my building.
Right.
And then he did that and created this building that uses about 90% less energy than any other building around it, with no AC and a steady temperature. And he did it not by focusing on his field of expertise,
That's
architecture, but by combining insights from the field of termite ecology. And he then created essentially an explosion of interesting ideas.
So you're sort of borrowing ideas in a sense and readapting it to something new, you know what I mean?
Yes, and when you do, you can find things that you thought were completely unconnected to actually be connected. And there's tons and tons of intriguing stories around this. And when I set out to do research on this, I don't think I expected what I would find, which is that all over the world you have the same trend in innovation. Another fascinating example is of this Lebanese woman that moved to Australia. And when she moved there, she realized that there's a strong beach culture there.
Okay.
And people were wearing bikinis on the beach, but as a traditional Muslim woman, she couldn't do that. You wear a burqa. When you sit on the beach, you don't, it's not that comfortable going swimming in a burqa.
Right, of course.
You end up on the beach. And so she designed a burqa plus a burkini, which is basically a burqa designed out of bikini material. Huge success, tremendous success for a company, global growth, and in just a couple of years, because there's millions and millions of women that would want to wear something like this.
So what you're saying is all of us have the ability to do that. So what's stopping us from tapping into our, you know, our bag of experience?
Making that link.
Probably will come up with a new innovation.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, there's a couple of things. So one, of course, is this notion of making mistakes and failure. Anytime you try something different, something new, You don't really know if it's going to work or not work.
Right.
And that holds us back sometimes. Another thing is that we tend to compartmentalize information. You have a job, and then you have a hobby. You work in one place, and you vacation in another.
That's true.
And we set our minds apart like this. And the obvious connections that we should make between, say, termites and architecture or bikinis and burqas, they remain apart, they remain separate in our minds. And so in the book I talk about how we first have to look beyond our fears, but then also how we have to break down the boundaries in our own minds.
You know, that's tough sometimes because in a way when you're on holiday, you want to be on holiday and totally switch off that work. You know, where's this lady with the bikini? I bet she was on holiday, but then she thought, business opportunity, you know. So, I mean, some of us are just like, nah.
You know, you're absolutely right. Okay, so sometimes it makes total... There's a reason why we compartmentalize information. There's a reason why we designed it this way. It is because it makes life easier. And that's fine. Okay, that's great. When you're on vacation, you could be on vacation. But occasionally, every now and then, try to find a unique connection. Try to create something that hasn't been there before. And if you come up on an idea that you're passionate about, that stirs you inside, go for it.
So what have you done? I mean, you've gone around the world looking for these people with amazing stories that must have had an impact on you as well.
Oh, it's had a tremendous impact. When I started this, when I got the idea for this book and started this research, I wasn't sure what to find, what to expect, and it took about 3 years of my life dedicated to actually research and write this book. And today, what's happened is that in the process of doing that, I started seeing intersections everywhere. And wherever I go now, I constantly look for different ways of combining experiences, connecting people from all over the world. I'm here in Singapore because of one of those connections. We developed a program here that we want to roll out for high schools and various schools all over the country, and we then can take that to the rest of the world. It's just exciting. I'm seeing ideas in places that I hadn't before.
Although you might have a tough time, you go out everywhere and you're thinking, you're having a meal and you're going, ice cream, fried noodles.
What can we do about
How can we put the two together,
Exactly.
you know? Some things are not meant to mix, I think, sometimes. You know?
Well, thank you so much, Frans, for coming in. Frans Johansson, the author of the book,
Thank you.
The Medici Effect. And we hope our discussion has inspired you to see beyond your expertise and to approach your problems in a creative and innovative way, which actually reminds me, you know, schools nowadays are changing as well. You have interdisciplinary majors coming up in schools, and I think that really encourages people.
Just being more open-minded to ideas, saying, okay, let's give it a try before saying no, you know, and then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Well, we need to take off for a break. That one we've tried and tested. It does work, and we're back in 2 minutes. That one we've tried and tested too, so we'll see you just after these messages.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you, Frans.
Tonight, over the Swiss Alps, we'll see changeable conditions.